Why do I always choose the hottest days to do this? Today, we're installing a second subwoofer into the Prado, but with a slight twist that I don't think I've seen anyone else attempt. We'll see how it goes. A couple of years ago, I installed the factory JBL subwoofer enclosure from the VX and Kakadu models into my GX and then fitted this Pioneer subwoofer. The plan is to install the second subwoofer here in the American 4Runner JBL subwoofer box. About a year ago, I actually installed the subwoofer box and it fits, it mounts up. The question is, can I neatly cut a hole so I can fit the new sub? We will see. So that's the plan for today. But while we're at it, we're going to run some new 12 gauge speaker wire from the amplifier that's mounted in the glove box to the original subwoofer and then across to the new subwoofer. But first, we have to strip the boot, take everything out to make life easier for us for the wiring. I think I made that more difficult than it should have been. Oh well, onwards and upwards. Okay, and there we go. So you can see I've done some sound deadening on this side when I first installed this subwoofer. But on that side, I didn't really do any, which I thought I did, but I guess I didn't. So I'm going to do some more sound deadening over there. I'm going to lay some sound deadening down here as well. And I'm also going to clean up all the gunk that's been sitting under that boot liner for who knows how long. But I'll give you a close-up of that subwoofer enclosure and we'll go from there. Okay, so that's the factory subwoofer enclosure for the JBL sound system in the American 4Runner. It costs more than I cared to admit to import from the US, but I thought it was worth the gamble, judging by photos I've seen online of what the inside of a Prado boot, I guess, enclosure looked like relative to a 4Runner. They're both a very similar platform, basically the same underpinnings, just different bodies. And thankfully, I was pretty much correct in my assumption that the subwoofer enclosure from a 4Runner fits into a Prado 150 series. As you can see, I've bent up some brackets to mount it in place. And now they've got a better access, I might even work on that a little bit more, but I mean, that's pretty bloody solid. Once that's bolted in, which uses the factory bolt from before, it's actually quite solid. To mount it, it uses entirely factory mounting holes, except I had to move this module. It was slightly further this way, so I moved it that way, bent out the locking pin, and there was a hole drilled here originally for a cargo barrier bracket. So I just used that existing hole. So if you were to do this, you'd probably have to drill a hole or figure out a different way to mount whatever this module is. So I'm going to get to cleaning up the boot, get rid of all this shit, lay some sound deadening, and then start the wiring. Okay, I think that's about as good as I'm going to get it. Perfection is the enemy of good enough after all. I'm going to get my sound deadening material and get to laying. The soundproofing material I use is from the Underdog brand. I know everyone uses Car Builders, and I'm sure Car Builders is fantastic. They want to get their reputation over nothing. However, from memory, the Car Builders brand was almost double the cost of this stuff. And so far, I've used it in all the doors and in the back here, obviously. It's been fantastic. I can't complain. It's definitely helped improve the speaker quality and reduce road noise. So if it ain't broke, all right, so that's looking pretty good. I know you don't have to go as much coverage as I have. I know a little bit can do almost as good a job as a lot, but I got carried away. So here we are. Next, I think I will put down this foam material. I put it all in the doors and in the roof as well, for that matter. Just add a little bit of extra sound dampening. I got it from AliExpress. It was super cheap for a crap load of it. So I've got it. I may as well use it. So it turns out I didn't have as much of this foam stuff as I thought I did. So that corner will be foamless. That should be okay. I can't see that causing any real issues. Next, I'm going to remove the wires, or the speaker wire from the subwoofer to the amp in the glove box. Run some new wire, and then run some wire over to the new subwoofer. So rather typically, while I was doing a lot of this, my phone's battery decided to go flat. So while it was up on charge, I did some of the small odd jobs that weren't particularly interesting on video. Namely, sound deadening over there, perfecting one of the mounting points for the new subwoofer. I wired them up as well, so they are electrically connected. I've tested them, both subwoofers are working. I'll throw up on screen now the wiring diagram I used. Made it a lot easier for me to follow than some of the other diagrams out there. I opted not to redo the wiring to the amplifier, as it was actually better than I remembered it being, and I didn't see the point in piss farting around with wiring or rewiring something that was otherwise fine. Yeah, I'll give you a quick look at what I've done, and then start putting it all back together. I will be leaving this side exposed because the next couple of jobs I have involve getting in behind there anyway, so there's no point putting it back on just to take it off again. So she will be a little bit naked for the next few days until I get around to doing those jobs. But I'm pretty stoked that it's all working. So that's the speaker wire there that comes out, runs under the boot or along the boot, up to the second subwoofer over there. Added sound deadening to the wheel arch, nipped up that mounting point so it clears the body a bit better. Added sound deadening to the subwoofer box. And yeah, it's all working. Now to put some of the trim back together. And with that, the Prado is as back together as it needs to be. Like I said, I don't want to put that trim panel back on just yet because the next few jobs I have to do involve getting into this space here, and I don't want to have to put that trim panel on, take it off again, put it back on. It's just easier if I leave it off for now, do what I have to do, and then put the trim panel back on when I'm finished. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. If this video has given you any value at all, or if you even just enjoyed it, I would really appreciate it if you hit that like button and even consider subscribing. It really helps give me motivation to keep making more videos. Thank you.